Rock this world!
Hey, so I want to just start by asking you how Tuesday went. That was your first time back, you said, in 2 years, is that right?
Just under 2 years, yeah. The last show that we did, which were you there? You were there, weren't you? At that
Was that the
show at
bistro?
yeah. The
That was a
last
good
show
show.
was
Yeah.
September 2023. So, last show with the boys. And it's been yeah, almost 2 years. It was awesome. It was awesome. It went really, really well. I kept saying to myself, like beforehand, like hopefully one person I know is gonna be there, man. Like as long as there's like that one person there that I can like make eye contact with, that I would be all right and
Yeah.
I'd feel good about it. And the room was packed. It was packed. The whole shop, front to back, side to side, was full of people, and it was a lot of faces that I knew, and that it was really cool. It made me really happy to have that and to do that. And so, I don't know, it was weird because I hadn't played in so long, and it's like, so the last show I did was that show with the boys, but like the last solo show I did was even more years back, you know what I mean? It's been a while since
Yeah.
it's just been just me and the guitar. So that was almost kind of daunting in and of itself. But, I mean, once the first chorus of the first song hit, I was like, oh yeah, I know how to do this. I've done this a few times before, and it was off. So it was a fantastic show, an amazing crowd full of a ton of beautiful people, and Micah and Vanessa were as phenomenal as they always are. So all around, it was an absolutely fantastic kind of jumping back in point for me.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that.
yeah.
I kind of feel like we're seeing a resurgence of the solo acoustic artists these last few years, especially.
Sure.
And just in general, I feel like we're seeing a shift towards like personal brands instead of like full bands. Like generally, if there is a band, the band identity is kind of formed out of this around a singular person these
Sure.
days. And I'm just kind of curious if you feel that way, if you feel like acoustic or like solo artists are kind of gaining space. I feel like they're more like it's more accessible than like a full band, especially in some venues. What has your experience been?
I mean, I certainly love both of those experiences, right? But they are very, very different experiences from an artist standpoint, especially, right? When you're up there with the band, it's almost like, for me, where I don't necessarily consider myself like top caliber in any avenue that I'm in as far as music is concerned. It's always nice kind of having the band there, because it almost kind of gives you like that added padding. It gives you that sense of like, man, if I'm gonna mess something up, they probably won't notice, and we'll just keep going and it'll rock and it'll be good, But like when you're up there by yourself, it's very, very vulnerable. It's very, very like, it's you, and so if you make those mistakes, they're usually a lot more audible, a lot more visual, a lot more kind of understood. So also in the same instance, like from a solo standpoint, I feel like you almost have more access to more places and opportunities to be able to play, right? Like I wouldn't be able to take the band to heavy metal shop, right? If it were me and three guys, like we'd never fit an entire loud rock band inside of that little shop, right? There's a lot of places and spaces really kind of just popping up around where, like smaller, eateries or cafeterias or coffee shops and those kinds of things are really looking to kind of expand and have a lot more opportunity for live music. And obviously a person with a guitar is going to be like the most ideal way to kind of go about that. So I think that there's more opportunity for a solo artist to be able to have varying degrees of success in varying levels of kind of venue, right? Like I could play solo at Urban Lounge. I could play solo at Starbucks, right? I don't want to. But, like there's obviously certain things that a band can do that a solo artist can't. And there's obviously, a ton of different things that a solo artist can do that a band can't. I have definitely noticed a lot more kind of solo artists kind of coming out of the woodwork. And I don't know if that's just because I've been paying more attention to them a bit more over like the last 6 months or so, since I've been kind of like, yeah, I kind of want to play shows again. Yeah. But I have also noticed a lot more solo artists have started playing with bands as well.
Interesting.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't think that there's necessarily, it's certainly not a one is better than the other in any way. Each of them is its own kind of unique format, better suited to certain environments, I suppose.
Do you, so again, first time playing in nearly 2 years, have you noticed anything since the last time you played versus, today, just changes in the music scene or maybe even yourself since that last time you were on stage?
We are small time DIY independent musicians, which means a 2-year absence, you might as well not exist anymore, right? A 6-month absence, you might as well not exist anymore. So like, it's weird thinking that I've now been, doing this as a solo artist for 11 years. Right. And there's always tons of changes in there, and seeing things, bands evolve, old bands die out, become new bands, all the people from all of our favorite bands become new conglomerate bands, and the cycle continues, So like, I think the scene is always changing. There's a ton of brand new bands that have been coming out over the last couple of years that I'm some of them I've seen, some of them I haven't had an opportunity to see yet. And it's kind of really cool to see like that continuous evolution, right? There's always going to be that. As far as myself is concerned, I think one of the kind of big things that I talked about with the boys when I was like, kind of need to like take a step back and take a step out on my own. Again, one of the big things that kind of influenced that decision was, I feel like as a songwriter, and as an artist, I definitely have changed from like where Scenes from the End was a couple of years ago, where contrary to the hat that I currently have on my head, I don't want to just be putting out sad songs constantly, these kind of depressive, sad sack, my life is I'm going through breakups, I hate my life kind of music, because like my personal attitude has changed, right? In the last year, I've done a lot of self-improvement, and I've made both, mentally and physically, and I'm kind of in this space where the things that I'm writing and the things that I'm experiencing are more like full of hope, right? And they're on this like kind of positive vibe to them, and like it's looking at where I am and being happy and moving forward and having this like, fuck yeah, this is good, and I don't know how to write music like that. So like I'm kind of in this like really weird space where like I've definitely evolved both kind of, I think, as an artist and a songwriter, to where like I don't know what defines the art anymore, and that's kind of the space I'm in currently.
Sounds very experimental, very cool. I find it fascinating, and I think this must speak more to your headspace than anything, that you're like, I'm full of hope right now, when like most of America is definitely not feeling hopeful. And I'm sure you feel that as well.
Well,
like,
big picture, I'm fucked, just like everyone else. Yeah. But like here in this space, this is the happy space. This is the space where I can wake up and I can be like, you know what? I don't hate my life today. Let's see what I can do with that.
I really loved that kind of orientation, because I think that that's kind of honestly what's going to like save us as a country, is just not only like just personally feeling good about like our lives and our spaces, but like kind of building and reflecting that on a community level as well. I think if we're just more locally involved with each other and engaged, that I hope that will at least solve some immediate issues for the people around us as well as ourselves. It won't necessarily change the overall trajectory of what the like federal government is doing or the state government, but I do have hope that people united can make change both locally and on a bigger scale.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you and I have had varying degrees of that conversation over the years many times. So
yeah, I'm kind of curious. So did you play brand new music at the show on Tuesday, or is that something you're still working on?
I did. I played.
Interesting.
So it was an 8-song set, because I was opening for some touring people. So I just did like a quick 35-40 minute set. I originally paced it out at 9 songs and had 3 new songs in there. But
Nice.
kind of like right as I got there, I was like, you know what, I'm going to drop one of them. I'm still not 100% like in on how I want it to kind of be. So I ended up playing 2 new songs, which was really cool. I mean, for the majority of all of the people that were there, it was 8 new songs, which is great. It was a room full of a lot of new folks who had never heard my music before. But yeah, but the people who do know my stuff and do know my music and have listened to a lot of my stuff over the years. I actually had 3 people come up to me afterward and they're like, I'm really excited to hear where this stuff is going because it's definitely different than what you have been doing recently.
That is awesome. I can't wait to hear it myself. You don't have it available anywhere online yet,
No,
do you?
no. No. So, and that's the other thing too. So like with what I'm doing right now, I'm teaching myself, how to kind of do everything myself. Mind you, when the finished product comes out, it's not going to be, because like here, let me move my webcam real quick. You can see over here on my counter, I have my iPad, my little guy, my amp down there. Like I'm literally like working demos, in GarageBand on my iPad right now, at home. And I'm kind of like teaching myself to do that as I'm going, right? And so those will end up being kind of like the blueprint for, when I start talking to people to come in and fill out the studio space, we'll use those as kind of like the blueprint for it. So like that's the time consuming part of it right now is like I have probably about a dozen songs right now, in various stages of whimsy to finished product. And I'm trying to decide, I mean, the constant, especially, again, like at our level, that constant like idea of, am I going to go into a studio and do I want to try to record a full length record, or am I going to do another EP, or am I going to go in there and like record 2 or 3 songs and then release those on a staggered and then hit the studio again in a couple months, because like everything has changed, right? Like you put that question up on your Instagram not too long ago asking about, do people still listen to full albums, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm a diehard full album listener. That's how I listen to music, Like I wanna hear that art from start to finish. Like I have my vinyl collection. I want to sit on my couch with the booklet and read the lyrics as I'm listening, but like I understand like that's not how music is consumed anymore. It's not, right?
Yeah.
And so like as an artist who's like just dying for 5 people to listen to your music, like what do you do,
Yeah. It's a good question. Certainly don't know. I mean, the answer myself. I know what other people are saying. I know what other people are doing. I think there's varying levels of success all around, honestly. It's I mean, just with everything that's happening tech-wise, media-wise, it's a lot of uncharted territory for everyone. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and there's that whole like money issue to make like the level of quality of what I want my art to sound like as a finished product. If I'm going into the studio to do 5 songs, that's going to cost me $5,000. It's a lot of money for somebody who doesn't make a lot of, especially from playing music.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And I don't know if this is good or bad for me personally. I mean, I guess it's just a personal thing for everyone, but I've always kind of tried to look kind of at music making as more of a passion and a hobby than something to monetize. Kind of like people look at skiing, I suppose, or sports, if that's your thing. But yeah, because I do feel like it is extremely hard to actually make money from music, and I haven't cracked it. And part of it is just because I don't have the passion to try and crack that. Like that's a lot of marketing. That's my day job. I don't want to do that. But also like just the whole business side of it, very tiring. So yeah, I've never even bothered to try to really crack that. But kudos to anyone who does, because it is tireless hard work.
It's nuts. I mean, even to the level of success that I've been able to have, like the amount of time and effort that I've put in on all of that, the business side of it, the marketing, the promotion, the artwork, the designing, the flyers, the promotion, the paid advertising on Instagram, the, hey, do you want to come to my show? Pats on the back to your buddy at 2:00 in the morning at the bars, like it's fucking insane. And I love it. And like, I mean, obviously if I could live my dream as a full-time musician. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to be able to do all of that myself anymore, you know?
Yeah, yeah. We all have day jobs,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it does make it extremely hard. I'm just because you brought it up, I'm kind of curious. Have you ever actually seen an impact from like Instagram or any paid ads or anything like that?
No. No. I mean, like you certainly, but it's also like you see it and it's like fucking going to Vegas to the casinos. It's gambling. That's all it is, right? Like I can go on Instagram and be like, I'm going to promote this show post on my Instagram, right? Or in the meta suite, in the business suite or whatever they're calling it
Yeah.
nowadays, right? And if I put $10 in, then it could go up to 4.3 thousand people. But if I put 25 in, then it could go up to 8,912 people, right? And it's like, it's these arbitrary numbers that are based solely on like the algorithm, and it's playing the stock market. It's horseshit, right? Like
Yeah.
you're pumping money into something that you're never going to see like a real tangible return on. And
Yeah.
you can go in and you can look at the stats and it's like 753 people have viewed this over the last 4 days. And you're like, okay, there's no likes, there's no retweets, there's no RSVPs on the event, there's no people texting me saying, bro, I'm coming. Like, you know what I mean? So the amount of money over the years that I've spent on like paid advertising through social media, it's not a lot. But it's certainly a chunk of money that I wish I would have put elsewhere.
Yeah. That makes sense. I've never done paid advertising myself. And like even professionally, like
Mhm.
I've always been like organic content marketing.
Yeah.
So that's actually something I'm looking to experiment with. I don't know if that'll be like through my band,
Sure.
through uh through this podcast series or through something else, maybe even something actually work related. So
Yeah.
but it is interesting how, especially in the music, how and if that really drives any sort of impact. Because
Yeah.
I certainly haven't been convinced. That's why I've never done it. So
Yeah. I mean,
but
and mind you, like on the flip side of that, right? Like my work, I work for a nonprofit, right? So we actually do use a lot of paid advertising through social media, right? For like our
yeah,
big events, for our rug shows, for when we're getting ready to need people to go on our food runs and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm directly involved in that process at work. And I definitely do, but this is also like a drop $2,000 to advertise over 4 days kind of thing. So like there's
yeah,
a big difference between dropping $2,000 for that paid advertising and seeing like 1.3 million interactions
yeah.
versus me and my band page that has 700 follows and I'm paying $25. So again, it's money. It comes down to that, right?
Yeah, and there is something interesting about paid ads, and this is something I've learned working at marketing agencies that are specifically like focused on paid ads. Big budgets are pretty much a must if
Mhm.
you're gonna like move the needle. You need to be
Mhm.
able and I'm talking even hundreds of thousands
Oh
of
yeah. Oh
dollars
yeah.
in,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
ad spend,
Yeah.
and then using that so that what that does is one, it allows you to have a very big reach. And
Mhm.
then you need a workflow in
Excuse me.
place where you are very quickly finding what ads are working and like iterating on those top performers to build like new compelling ads.
Uh-huh.
It's a whole process, but it's very time consuming.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's very fast paced, very quick. You got to be very deep in like data science, data analytics, and you got to have money to make money,
Yeah.
really.
No. Yeah. Oh,
And,
fuck yeah, dude.
and at that level, it does work. Like I have seen like paid ads that have like for every dollar spent, they're making like $2 or $3 or something. But
Mhm.
that's wild amounts of money
Yeah.
versus what we can expect.
Yeah.
Like, and that's I think part of the problem is that just I don't know if you could maybe if a band could at the low level they're spending still like find top performers and iterate on those, but it's much harder to do with smaller budgets.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
it's unfortunate because I do think that it is hard to break through the noise, and social media is where people are. So
Yeah.
it can make sense, but I don't know. I haven't seen it. So
Yeah, no, and neither have I at all.
since you bring up work, though, I would love to learn a little more about that because you work something related to indigenous tribes. Is that correct?
I do, specifically the Navajo tribe. So I work for a nonprofit organization called Adopt a Native Elder, and the purpose and mission of our program is to provide support for the elders of the Navajo Nation. So all of the people who are in our program that we support are 75 years of age or older, and kind of the bullet point to what our program does is we provide support through medical, food, household items, all sorts of different things that you and I can go down the street to Walmart to pick up to the elder generation that are continuing to live the traditional lifestyle of the Navajo people. The hope of what our program does is to be able to support that older generation, to allow them to continue to be Navajo, to allow them to continue to be indigenous and not be colonized, for lack of a better term. These are the last true generation of indigenous people left in this country, in this side of the world, really, not just obviously the Navajo, in Native American in general, but so we spend our time taking care of that. We also provide all of the weavers and silversmiths and jewelry makers who are a part of the program, kind of almost like a storefront to be able to share their goods, to be able to sell their rugs, their jewelry, their artistry at fair prices, like actual, like they tell us, they say, I need $1,000 for this rug. It gets sold for $1,000, as opposed to if they were to take it to one of the trading posts on the reservation, and maybe get $150 for that rug or something like that, where they have no choice but to take that amount of money. So we have a big rug show at the end of the year. The last few years since the pandemic, it's all been online. Traditionally, it has been at the Snow Park Lodge at Deer Valley. And this year is actually our first year back at Deer Valley. So we're really, really excited about that. It'll be in early November. People come out. We have like 15, 16 of our weavers come up. They do weaving demonstrations. They bring a lot of their stuff with them, their families. There's usually, gathering ceremonies and all sorts of stuff for people to be able to learn about the culture, understand their position in life, what life on the reservation is like, the things that these beautiful people have to kind of endure, and hopefully, those people can see that it's a cause worth championing and getting behind.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it sounds absolutely a worthy endeavor to me. I'm curious, so it was a physical event, then a virtual event, and now you're going back to physical.
Physical, continuing to maintain the virtual space, right? Because
okay, that's what I was gonna ask.
You have the rug show. I mean, for lack of a better wording, you have the rug show for all of the rich white people up in Park City to come and look at, right?
Yeah.
Or you have a virtual event where literally everybody on the planet has an opportunity to be able to be a part of it, So we will continue to maintain both spaces moving forward. If you go to our website right now, we do have, like, you can go and look at, there are rugs for sale. We have rugs that have been consigned from some of our weavers. There's jewelry for sale on there currently. So year round, we always have stuff that's on our website that is kind of available. The big thing with our year-end rug show is our program founder usually kind of comes up with a theme for each show. And then she talks to all of the weavers, like she has out of the, say, 100, I don't know the exact number. I want to say it's right around about 100 or so active weavers in our program. Out of those, we have maybe 20, 25 who are like top tier, like Picasso level artistry in Navajo weaving, and she goes to them with the theme and kind of a specific color bundle, and then they create theme rugs. So each year there's kind of these beautiful theme rugs that are one of a kind that would never be seen, I mean, they're all one of a kind, but they wouldn't be seen elsewhere ever, right? And so those are never available on our website. That's for the rug show, right? That's a big part of it, and then also each of the weavers will have their rugs that they have that aren't in our warehouse, So the virtual space currently and kind of year round is always like a great representation of so many different kind of traditional, beautiful Navajo rugs, designs and styles. You can always go on there and be able to find something within any budgetary price range. They're all obviously hand woven one-of-a-kind pieces by like indigenous artists, a lot of them, and the majority of them, like that's how they get money, period. That's their only sustaining way to make money, which is why it's so important for us to be able to provide them that opportunity. But then the rug show, we'll have, I don't know, 200 rugs on our website. You get to the rug show, and between all the rugs that the weavers bring and all of the rugs that we're holding for the rug show and all of the theme rugs, it gets up to like 500 to 700 different rugs. So it's a pretty impressive spread.
And you mentioned for the rug show that they do demonstrations. I'm curious, did that happen like online, virtually?
No. And that's a big part of what's going to make kind of going back to an in-person show so special, is being able
absolutely.
to like really the people who want to participate and be involved and be a part of it and be there and see it will not only be able to see all of these incredible pieces of art, but also be able to interact directly with some of these beautiful weavers, be able to like watch them and learn from them and see how they create these rugs, to be able to see how they put the wool together, to see how they process the wool, to see how they do all of these different things, to be able to see a full loom, action. It's really cool. It's a pretty special thing.
I want to shift back to music a little bit.
Please, yeah.
So thinking about like Utah's music scene, I'm kind of curious, like, do you feel there are, I don't know, cliques or hierarchies? Do you feel like it's accessible to newcomers? I'm kind of curious to your thoughts.
It's high school, man. Like, I mean, come on. You know it is. Like, it's high school. It's fucking high school. It's Game of Thrones, dude. We're all playing politics to get a higher and better position. It's the high school cliques all over again. And I feel like any kind of like grouping of people that kind of comes together wherever it is, school, music, sports, whatever, right? It's always going to happen. That's going to happen. Like, I hate to say it's like human nature or some shit like that, right? But it is, right? There's the Ogden punks, and there's the Salt Lake Sartain people, and there's the Piper Down Ice House sweethearts. Like, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Like, and I mean, that's kind of how it is. And that's how it's always been. Like, I made a point and I made an effort, like always, to kind of like make sure that we were always trying to play with different bands, right?
Yeah.
Always trying to get new bands or up and coming bands, or like, especially the last few years of us, playing, I always tried to make sure that we were getting at least one band that had some sort of minority representation in some way or shape or form on at least each bill, right? I mean, like, we all know and we all understand that, rock bands are 98% white dudes. So kind of making sure to have that was always important to me as well, but like I always tried with a lot of my bookings to push through, those kind of click circles, like, hey, we want to play with these guys. We want to play with these guys. Oh, we heard these guys are cool, But like, obviously, I think we had a lot of success in that. And I think we had a lot of interesting lineups at a lot of different shows. The unfortunate part of that, which kind of goes back to the whole click thing, is I don't necessarily think that like enduring relationships were made from any of those. This is not a negative comment towards anybody in the scene or anything like that, right? That's kind of how it is. If one of your buddies is like, hey, we're playing a show, there's a pretty good chance, if you know who that person is and what band they're playing in, you know who the other two bands on the show are going to be.
Yeah.
Like if somebody's like, yeah, we're playing at Piper Down next weekend, you're like, okay, I know who's on that show. Like, or, hey, I'm in this band and we're going to be playing at Kamikazes in a month. You know exactly what bands are on that show. But like, also, it's that comfort level, right? It's the familiarity, it's the comfort level, it's these people who play their shows constantly with kind of the same groups and the same people, and they end up, and I think it boils down to, you kind of end up with the same fans, right? The same people coming to those shows, and you don't want to rock that boat, right? Because if you step too far outside of that familiarity circle, you might not have 50 to 100 people at your show. You might only have 20, right? And then your take of the door goes down, So yeah, absolutely, 100%. Like, of course it's clicked up, and it's very high school-ish, and that's kind of rough, from an adult standpoint, I suppose. Subconsciously, we all understand that that's a real and true thing that's going on, but like you very rarely see anything being done about it.
I've actually found that quite frustrating in the past, because I do enjoy playing with different bands. I actually think it is a potential untapped monetary opportunity. Almost no one I know listens to one genre of music. They listen to all sorts of genres of music. And so my take has been, if you get some like really diverse mixed like bills, people will come out, they will find new music that they enjoy, and it won't just be recycling like the same people, the same fans, the same bands over and over again, which can lead to like saturation and fatigue, for lack of a better term. I haven't had a chance to really test this or see the efficacy of that, if that's true. There have been times when I've even reached out to like friends, people I feel very well connected to it, and been like, hey, do you want to play on this show with us? And they're a different genre of music, and like one of their first questions is it really a good fit? To me, that's almost besides the point. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, that's the whole point.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then I have like venues when I've been trying to put together shows, and I've like suggested lineups that really great bands all in their own right, but one of the critiques I'll get is these aren't the same genre. These are too different from each other. And I'm just like, God damn it. Let me fucking just put together a mixed bill.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Pepper Rose says she's starting to see some see that happen now, some mixed bills, and so I really hope that's taking root and taking hold, because I honestly think it makes business sense, like for venues, for bands, for fans, for everyone. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I've been very frustrated by that personally.
I don't think that you're wrong at all. I mean, that's what I've been trying to do for years, right? Quite often when I would message venues and stuff, I would get that all the time too, Like I'd get a hold of somebody and be like, hey, I want to do a show and I'm thinking about these two bands. I'm still waiting to hear back from them whether or not they have availability. And they're like, that's kind of like a weird lineup, And I'm just like, I know it is. Like, I'm aware of that. I'm bringing you that information. I would love to see more community, like overall, right? Because there's, and for you, like even you talking about it, it's worse for you because you're up in Logan, like you're an hour and a half removed from down here, and it makes that. I mean, that's a chunk of change. That's a lot of traveling,
Yeah.
So it definitely makes it even harder for you. And in the reverse, it's kind of hard for anybody to come up there,
Yep.
So I love playing Logan. I love playing up there, but like there's nowhere to play.
Yeah.
Like there's nowhere to play up there anymore. It's horrible. But I don't know, man. Like I would love to see more cross-pollination happening other than somebody hitting me up and it's like the same three dudes bands, whichever of the four bands that they're in, it's like it's always like the same stuff, you know? And like, I love my friends and I want to support and I want to be at a show every weekend. I really honestly do, more than anything. But I can only see the same three bands in a row every weekend, like so many times before I start saying, I'll just catch the next one.
If you're enjoying this video, please consider sharing it, liking it on YouTube, or rating the podcast 5 stars if you're on Spotify. Please also subscribe, check out my other videos, even if it's just as background noise, or consider donating a little to help support the work I do. You can do that at buymeacoffee.com/rockmarketing LLC. I love learning, talking to people, and sharing ideas, and your support helps me keep creating great stuff that everyone can benefit from. Also, feel free to drop questions in the comments or suggest yourself as a guest on a topic you love. Thank you so much for watching, and let's get back to it.
So that's actually an interesting point you bring up, because that is this is something I'm kind of thinking internally, like for open door policy, potentially moving forward, is instead of playing just to play, only playing like when we have new stuff that we want to, have fun and showcase and highlight with people. And that means taking more ownership and actually like, so my vision for that is, we're developing the show, we're like sourcing the venue, we're checking all these boxes, and we're actually making it an experience. It happens.
You're creating an event.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like once or twice a year, maybe, depending on how fast we can move on actually building new music. But like, you're right, like just the same bands over and over, especially if they are just playing kind of the same songs over and over, it can get, for lack of a better word, a little dull. I mean, I'm generally a fan of just going out and rocking, so I can probably listen to the same band over and over, but it's awesome when I can see them alongside new bands.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In other spaces, you know, and definitely when they have new music. I think it is good to balance new with old because, you know, people do want to actually be able to have something to that they know and can dance to and sing along with. But I like to hope that they also enjoy new music as well.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. My kind of internal philosophy, and we really kind of started implementing this in the last couple years with revival shows, was we stopped playing 2 shows a month. We were doing that, you know? And like, I love when people come up to me, they're like, Albuquerque. But like, you know, I don't want to just play Albuquerque 3 times a fucking month every month, you know? Like, so we started scaling back and we started kind of doing like a show every 2 or 3 months, right? And like my internal philosophy right now for even myself, especially kind of going back to just doing stuff solo, is like, I just did this show, right? I might do 1 or 2 more before the end of the year, right? Maybe introduce 1 or 2 more new songs in that amount of time. But like, I think where a lot of folks kind of at our level of the DIY sphere really get stuck is they get stuck on that. They're like, we're going to play 4 shows a month because I want to be out and playing all the time, you know? And we do. I want to be out playing all the time. I would love to be out playing all the time, right? But like, my interest in kind of a big thing, like I was doing it very early in the solo career, was like, you gotta play other places, man. Like, you know, like I want to go back to throwing my guitar in the back of my car and going to Colorado for a week and come home.
Yeah.
You know,
go
to Southern California for a week and come home, right? Where you're still playing roughly the same amount of shows per year, but you're only playing 4 or 5 at home, right?
Yeah.
But you're actually building your brand, right? And that's you can only swim in the same place like so many times and think that it's going to be different, right?
Yeah.
You need to get out and you need to like experience other places and meet new people and create new fans and new connections and new faces. And where you know, when I play a show in Salt Lake and I'm putting 2 new songs in the set that's sick as hell, and people that are from here are like, oh yeah, dude, that new song was sick. And then I go to Fort Collins and they're just like, this is a brand new dude I've never heard before. Holy shit, that was sick, right? It allows you like, and I feel like that's where a lot of folks kind of at the really, really small independent DIY level get hung up, is they never take that step. They never take that leap, right? You know, they get, I don't know. I hate to like use the word complacency, you know, but like it almost kind of feels that way where you're just like, yeah, we're playing this place 5 times a year and we're playing this place 6 times a year. So we're good. We're playing shows. It's good, you know? And then you wonder why the first show of the year, there's 60 people there. But by the time you play Ice House for the 13th time this year and there's only 3 people coming to the show, you know, like, I don't know.
I almost take a reverse tactic for that, or at least I'm thinking about it. Like, so I'm kind of the opinion that kind of what you were going back to earlier, how it's really hard to build like authentic, ongoing relationships. My concern is that, you know, like if we can only make it down to Salt Lake once or twice a year, it's really hard to build and maintain those relationships. And so I'm thinking of pulling back, even like going the opposite direction of you, where I'm like saying, we're going to be in Logan, we're going to do shows a few times a year when we have new music, and we're just going to build like a really tight community.
Sure.
And so it's a different tactic, I think. I don't think one's necessarily better than the other. It is. I do wonder how do you balance like playing shows with like making new music, because I found it really, really hard to do both. Like it's you gotta do one or the other, because anytime, and this might even go more into recording, but like we have had a hard time getting our album out, which we're still working on. Original date was like supposed to be March, but we keep getting interrupted by shows, and so we have to keep practicing those set lists, and that pushes the recording back. So yeah, I'm kind of curious how or if you found a way to balance that.
Joe and I used to have that conversation almost every month. Cause and that's the other part of that whole like kind of cycle with the show playing, right? Is I love it. I love to death. I love being on stage, you know, and especially after the show on Tuesday, I'm very, very reminded of how much I love that and how much, but like, that would be it. Like I would bring a new song to the boys in practice and we'd start planking around on it. And then we'd get a show and be like, well, we got to practice the set list, you know, and that new song would get put on the shelf, you know, and then we'd play the show and then we'd pull it back off the shelf. We'd be like, how the fuck did that song go again? You know, and then we get it going again. And then it's like, well, time to work on the set list for the next show, put it away. Right. Like we have one of the songs that's like absolutely completely finished. And at some point in time when it goes into the studio to record, like I'm going to make sure that I have Joe, Jake and Brennan record that song with me. Right. Cause that's kind of like the last revival song that we kind of all did together. Like I think I originally brought that to them and we started working on it like 4 years ago, you know,
Wow.
and it just, I don't know, dude. And then, but like to that point, like after we kind of took, you know, after that show in 2023, Joe wanted to kind of take a break in 2024, you know, because he'd been drumming in 17 bands for 10 years. So we kind of took that calendar year off and we're working on new stuff. And like in the last year and a half, you know, I have 15, 20 new songs, you know. Because now, you know, like there aren't shows on the calendar. There's nothing in the way of me like just picking my acoustic up here at home and like plinking away at something, you know, and being able to like develop that with like no distraction and no, you know, but also in the same instance, like I suppose like my songwriting pacing and temperament is not the same as a lot of other folks, you know, like, I mean, there's tons of people, obviously, like you mentioned Pepper earlier, right? Like, it seems like her and Dave and like her solo stuff and Dave doing his solo stuff and Secret Soul stuff, like they've got a new fucking song coming out every other week, you know? And if they don't have a new song coming out every other week, there's pictures of them in the fucking studio every other week, right? And like, it's mind blowing that they are able to accomplish that. And it's really cool. And it's really inspiring to see that. Right. And I see a lot of people doing that. And then I'm sitting here, I'm like, yeah, I've been working on this song for a month and a half and I'm about ready to start writing lyrics for it, but I don't understand what I want the song to be about, you know, like, but that's always kind of like my approach to songwriting. Like, I'm not saying that other people are approaching their songwriting as like they're just churning shit out, right? But like for me, like I need a reason to write a song, right? Like if I don't have anything necessarily that like my music, like I know some people get it and some people understand some of my songs and some people probably don't, but like my music is like literally me working my life out, like on stage in real time. You know, like those songs are very, very like raw and very personal and very like very self-exploratory and very self-explanatory. And like if I'm not experiencing a point in time in my life where I need to do that and like work through that and try to understand something, then I'm not writing music because like I don't necessarily have a reason to at that point in time.
Yeah, I'm kind of. Oh, fuck. I had a thought and then I fucking lost it. Shit. Oh, no. I was saying it. It disappeared.
I'm sorry. I have a tendency to ramble.
Oh, that's what I was going to. And I'm kind of in the same boat, kind of not because, like, I have a lot of song ideas in my head. I have even more because I'm a lyricist, really.
Yeah.
I don't play guitar well. I don't play any instrument well.
Yeah.
Even the
neither
bass,
do I.
which
So,
play
you know,
for
it
Open
works.
Door Policy.
Yeah.
So, like, I have tons of song ideas, tons of, like, lyric ideas, but I can kind of really only move as fast as the rest of the band because they're the ones that are really doing the music and they're the one doing, like, that heavy creative lifting. I've, like, written 2 songs now, I think, for the actual music for Open Door Policy. Really love it. Really awesome.
That's awesome.
I want to do it more, but it's still, even once you have that kind of more finished product, taking that to the band, it takes time to incorporate. And again, if like shows are, you know, taking place, then it gets put off a little here and there. So I am still trying to find that balance between, because that's something I really missed. I was realizing as we were like playing shows and doing just like recording and whatnot, actually making new music. I don't feel like we've really made a lot of new music. So that's kind of one thing I want to do, I think, this coming year is focus on like 5 or 6 new songs if possible. So yeah.
Well, and
busy lives, but
yeah. Well, and doing that also kind of gives you like that sense of accomplishment, like you're actually like tangibly doing something, right? And
yes.
so like if you're not, right, and you're just kind of doing the same shit over and 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 over again, like it kind of just gets to the point where you're like, fuck, this is stupid.
Yeah. Yep.
And I hate to say that because like, like I listen to my songs and I'm like, God damn, these are so good. I love them to death, But then like we play the same fucking 10 songs over and over and over and over and over again at the DLC and at Ice House and at Urban Lounge and at Kamikazes, and it's like you kind of get to the point where you're like, I love these songs, but I don't want to hear them right now,
Yeah.
And if you're
100%.
not creating something new to go along with that, you kind of get in that like self like derogatory kind of feel, like that level of complacency where you're almost like, should I be doing this? Why am I doing this? And then like that's a slippery slope. Like big time.
Absolutely.
Because like once that seed gets planted, then you're just like, yeah, fuck it. I suck. Nobody cares. You pull up the band on Spotify and you're like 23 monthly listeners and you're like, yep, I'm fucking garbage. This is all downhill from there.
That's one of the things I mean, kind of going back to earlier things, all these, I would call them vanity metrics, I guess. They don't necessarily like, we're such a consumer society and it's so hard to break that mindset that art, especially art, deserves like to be made. It deserves to be enjoyed just for its own sake, regardless of like whether it's just yourself that's enjoying it or others. It can feel very depressing to see that not like the stuff you put your heart and soul into to not gain traction. But and it's something I'm still trying to rewire myself, but I think that's okay. I think what's important is really just getting out what you need, enjoying the process, and then whoever connects with that, I want to believe that's enough for me. Or I'm trying to rewire myself. So because it does get hard sometimes.
100%
to see that.
I totally agree with that. 100%. Art is for consumption, and it doesn't matter what level of consumption, right? Like you see so many of these like big time artists and musicians and stuff, and they're just like, like you got a song, you got it recorded, put it the fuck out. Who cares?
Yeah.
If you have 10 people listen to it, great. That's 10 people that have now experienced your art and your understanding of life. And that's like, that's a beautiful thing, Like I don't have massive amounts of listeners who listen to my music, but there are quite a few people that I know that have come up to me at various stages or points of time that have said, your music is awesome. And this song in particular has done something for me in my life. Like that reward far outweighs 900 monthly listeners, So yeah, like we're consumers. We're a capitalist consumer society, and it's all about metrics and algorithms and likes and retweets. And we've now unfortunately like been so conditioned to accept that I think independent artists in any art form are struggling so desperately because of that. 100%.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons I also kind of have been thinking about this whole like build a small good community right here, is because I think it helps kind of break that mindset that you need to be chasing audiences in Salt Lake or online or wherever, and bringing it really more grounded, more home. But also, once you start changing your art or your work to try and grab more metrics or something, I feel like it becomes more of a product then versus like actual art. And that's something I've wrestled with as well. So Pepper said something really cool when I was talking with her regarding like people who try to blend in, who try to like milk the algorithm, they're going to sound the same. They are going to blend in and, ultimately be lost in a sea of sameness. And really, the things we do that are unique, that stand out, that's really our superpower and the things we should be capitalizing on.
Sure, absolutely.
And I think that's a really cool take, and that's sat with me ever since she said it. So
it's a great take like from a very
imparting it
smart person. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something else I'm trying to think about and keep in mind as well.
Yeah.
especially as we like, I feel like open door policy, we've never necessarily had a cohesive sound. I think we're going towards a sound now. We're getting it into a groove, but I don't know if we'll ever be like this super polished, band. And I
Sure.
would like to believe that's kind of our super strength. I hope so.
I've always appreciated that with you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I also think that's why it's sometimes hard for us to get booked places.
I'll
It
guarantee you it is.
What the
Yeah.
are these people? They're
When
doing all sorts of shit.
when as human beings we are not able to easily define what something is, we tend to shun it, like regardless of
Dude.
what it is.
So true. That's actually just speaking completely off topic, but it's one of my biggest gripes with kind of humanity is just how focused we get on like labels. And I totally get it. It makes sense. We need to organize the chaos of our world, but that should be a guideline at best. It should not, dictate the erasure of entire peoples or identities, you know?
Oh yeah.
It's just, I hate that. I would like to talk about after a show wraps. And I feel like you've maybe done this. I feel like at least once or twice. Like, how do you keep kind of the momentum going, or how do you continue to build community? Like, do you have like after parties, online buzz, what do you do to kind of maybe just build community in general? How do you foster community yourself?
Honestly, I just think it's important after shows. Dude, I wish that we had more of a like after show, after party vibe going with shit, and I really do. But also in the same instance, it's a problem because, even at the level we play at, like these fucking shows are starting at 9 o'clock at night, dude. It's fucking stupid, dude.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah,
when you were done, I was like,
fucking dumb.
We should fucking have shows that are like 7 to 9, and then after like a 9 to 11 or something, just mixer after event.
And
then call it a night.
Yeah, it'd be cool as shit. Yeah, get people in bed by 10 o'clock.
Yeah. I honestly, and I don't think this is like, honestly, I've kind of always felt this way, even when I was much younger. So I don't think that the age is necessarily a part of it, but maybe I'm just getting old and I'm like, I want to be in bed earlier.
Even like giant touring shows. Like, I mean, like I went last weekend. So like I'm a new metal kid, right? Like we're going to kind of riff into something else here for a second, but like I'm a grunge kid. I'm a early, I'm a 90s, early 2000s grunge industrial new metal kid, right? And so there's one of the bands that I always loved when I was younger was a band called Spineshank. Right. And they hadn't been around for a while, but they're kind of a part of this like random new metal resurgence that's happening right now. All of these bands are like coming back. So they were here and they were on tour and they were, at the Metro. Right. And it was cool because one of Joe's other bands, Not Us Lived, Joe was playing, and I had never seen him play with that band. And it was cool to be able to go and like see Joe play. Right. I love him to death. I want to support him, even if we're not in a band together anymore. He's my buddy. Right.
Absolutely.
But like, it was a show that started, it was at Metro, and I think like it was like a 4-band bill, and like the first band started at like 8 o'clock, So like by the time Spineshank got on stage, it was like 10 o'clock at night when they were starting, and like, I know that I'm an old man, but like about 5 or 6 songs into Spineshank's set, I was like, I'm good. I'm going home because I'm fucking tired. So,
and here's the thing, like, I think you could format it so that it appeases like night owls and older people or people who just aren't as much of a night owl. Like, I think you could start the shows earlier, 6, 7, maybe a slightly shorter. This is my opinion, but I think like the perfect like set list length for any band is roughly 30, 40 minutes. Because after that, people start to short attention spans. Their attention starts to drift. They need to kind of just break it up with an interlude and then a new band. So so like 30 to 40 minute set list, and then wrap up by 9 or so, and then you can have like for those night people, you can have either like karaoke or EMD night or punk night with just like
hang the fuck
music.
Out with the bands.
Yeah, exactly. That's so I think there's a way to appease both.
The dream. You start at 7 o'clock, 3-band bill, 3 fucking bands. That's it. That's all you need. 3 bands. None of this 7-band bill shit.
That's
you know.
that's a lot.
But start at 7 o'clock and like half hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah. Yep.
Cruise it, get
Beautiful.
it done. Everybody's done by 9:30 at the latest. And then the show's done at 9:30 and everybody can be like, sweet, we still have 100 people here. Let's fucking drink.
Yeah.
Get get karaoke on stage. Let's fucking hang out, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, everyone I talk to feels this way. Like, I don't think I've ever met someone who's like, no, I want a later show.
I love starting my show at 9 o'clock at night. It's the best.
And so I don't know why it's not happening. I really don't. Like, it seems to be.
It's ownership. It's venue ownership. You know,
That's wild.
Yeah, like because unfortunately, the majority of the places that we all play in are bars, right?
Yeah.
There's very few like legitimate just music venues, right? So the bars want entertainment coverage for when we want to also be drinking and socializing,
Yeah.
you know? And so, that's why, but
That makes sense. Keep bringing up Pepper, but we were talking about alcohol being just a huge issue in a lot of ways, subtle and unsubtle, regarding like Utah's music scene. And that is another one that I don't think we even touched on at all, but you're 100% right.
Yeah.
That does kind of dictate the start and end of shows, and it is a bit unfortunate because I would like to, but I also like I think your idea would work great for a bar, like, end the show early, put on karaoke, and let's drink and have fun. Yeah. And that is a great bar atmosphere right there, in my opinion. Did you have anything you wanted to kind of say in closing and wrapping up?
No, dude. I'm happy to see you doing this, Casey.
Thank you.
I think that you have a lot of great ideas, and I think regardless of Open Door Policy's booking status, I think that you are not only a well-respected, but a well-loved person in the scene. And I feel like you are a person who intelligently sorts through issues, ideas, and are able to kind of really moderate fairly well in most social settings. I think that this will be a great opportunity for you to kind of really create something behind you that I think a lot of people will actually really appreciate, which is fantastic. Not saying that people don't appreciate ODP, but like, you know what I mean? Like I think this is a great venue for you, and I'm really excited to see where you're going with it.
Thank you. I have no idea how long I'll be doing this. I think I mentioned the reason to you, but like for people who may not know and maybe listening to this later, the whole impetus of me doing this is because I'm currently unemployed. I kind of have a job now, but it's like only a few hours a week. Yeah. But anyway, it's essentially unemployed.
It's a start and it's something.
Yeah. And so I figured while I'm unemployed, why not do this? Because one, I have the time. Two, I think it honestly might make me more visible and lucrative to people who might hire me, as opposed to just putting out a black hole of applications. I just saw a study. Sorry, we're going to keep going for a minute because I just saw a study. So this was on LinkedIn. Someone had done I think they did an analysis of like 16,000 job listings, and they found that like almost 70% of them were essentially fake.
Yeah, like bogus, like bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, either to grab personal information, or actually more likely was like as a marketing tactic for just to kind of raise visibility. And so, it's nice to know that I'm not crazy for feeling like my applications often go into a black hole.
70% of them, dude.
It's insane. Yeah. That's insane. Yeah. So yeah. And I also just want to say, man, first of all, thank you so much for the kind words.
Hell yeah,
and
dude.
Thank you for, coming and chatting with me. And I feel the exact same way. I find you to be a very empathetic, level-headed, just wonderful human being. I love your music.
Thank you.
And it has been a pleasure watching you perform for, man, I don't even know when I met you. It feels like forever at this point. But listening to your music, listening to you perform, and also just listening to you as a human being, like the things you're passionate about, the way you believe people should be treated, and just the way I think you believe the world should run, and the love you put out. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you. That's very, very beautiful of you to say, and I appreciate that very much.
You're very welcome. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for speaking with me today.
Hell yeah.
I look forward to hopefully seeing you perform in person soon, and maybe also us performing for you sometime soon or alongside you.
Always.
So
I love when I get
awesome.
the opportunity to see you guys play. And yeah, like I said, I mean, I'm definitely going to be doing at least 1 or 2 more this year. I know you and I had talked about me coming up to Logan and playing a show with you guys always.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I think as soon as so the primary thing, so we're playing Logan Pride.
Yeah.
That's the only show we have actually booked, and that's just tradition for us.
Yeah.
I would never miss that. So, but after that, really going to nail we're in post-production, so it's really just mixing at this point. And then as soon as that album is like ready to go, I'm hoping to like organize, like you said, an event.
Yeah.
An experience. And I would love to have you. I want to bring up bands from Salt Lake to Logan, because that's kind of the bridge I want to be building.
Yeah.
I want people in Logan to see these bands that they may not see if they don't get to Salt Lake very often. Like I don't seem to anymore. So yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Yep. Just let me know. I'm down.
Awesome.
Always
Will
down.
do, man. Thank you. Have a good day.
Hell yeah, Casey. Thank you very much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Did you enjoy this video? Hit like on YouTube or rate the podcast 5 stars on Spotify if you did. And share it if you think it could help others. Please also subscribe, check out my other videos, even if it's just as white noise, or support the channel via buymeacoffee.com/rockmarketingllc. I love learning, talking with people, and sharing ideas that can benefit anyone who listens. Your support helps me keep creating and covering the costs that go into making this content. Please drop any questions in the comment section and suggest yourself as a guest if you have a topic you're passionate about. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon.